Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Don't Gaslight Me, Jesus, a Dungeon Crawler Carl reading and rereading podcast. Today, we read, I don't know, some of us read them today anyway, but by today, we've all read chapters 11 through 18 of Dungeon Crawler Carl, the first book in the Dungeon Crawler Carl series. In those chapters, we get our first boss battle, we get kind of our second boss battle, and we meet our first other crawler. It's unfortunate that she was dead. But I'm Data, and with me today is...
Jennifer?
Mike?
Tim.
So let's get right into it. Welcome back, crawlers, to the first level. Yeah, a lot of chapters this time, a whole 8 chapters, but less text, I think, than we've read either of the previous 2 times. So, kind of.
Felt like that.
What did you guys think of these 8 chapters?
So, we have, as you said, met our first crawler. That was sad. Oh my god, that was sad. We also got our first compilation for the first time.
That's true.
Like, for the first day in the dungeon. Because I guess they do those daily until a certain point, and then they start doing like highlight reels or something. I still don't understand exactly how that is going to come into play later, but it was really funny to me that they obviously weren't going to show up in the first one, and I'm just like, oh, we're gonna have to start pumping the gas a little bit. I get it. All right, so I'm looking forward to things to be considerably ramping up from here going forward.
It does seem like if they want to get on the show, they're going to have to turn up the dial a little bit. You're right. Like, she thought that their boss battle was incredible, and how could they not get on the show? And then it turns out that there have been like hundreds of those bosses beaten already.
And like I thought we were going to get compilations of people dying horribly. I'm a little glad that it didn't go into a lot of detail about how all the various people were dying in the montage, but it's funny to me that this is just Running Man, Murder World, Hunger Games with tongue-in-cheekness, like levels of crazy over the top violence. Because yeah, this thing doesn't hold back. Like, I keep wondering how far it's going to go, and I'm like, all right, well, I think we've seen the extent of how big the violence is. There's a lot of gory violence, but that's only going to be towards monsters, right? And I was wrong about that.
It's funny, you did call that. You're like, oh, it's going to be like a bunch of people dying horribly, isn't it? And that was definitely, there was that aspect to it.
Yeah, and I didn't know how far we are going to go, and then we get that first boss battle, and then we're now realizing what happened to certain people. I don't know how far ahead of myself I'm supposed to get here, but I did not know that people were going to be. I think someone had mentioned that that people were probably going to be transmorphed into monsters or creatures. I didn't know how grotesquely human they would remain during that process. That was the thing that really kind of caught me, because I was like, okay, people dying in like horrible ways, but I'm like, how tongue in cheek is this? Or are we going to play it as straight as a car crash? And it's actually going to be really sad and really like cruel, like what is actually being done to these people. Because the thing that's really being underlined in these chapters is that there is no doubt now that this is not an unfeeling overlord corporation. This is just straight capitalism. The cruelty is the point. Awful entertainment, reality, gladiatorial games type shit, where it's like, this is just suffering. It is just for entertainment. And it is only going to get worse from here, because that makes for good TV.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. Did any of you look up the translation of the Spanish in the boss fight?
I did not.
I did.
I didn't. I was going to, but I was out of time, so I didn't have time to do that.
I was horrified enough to not want to.
You will be more horrified.
I got several of the words from what I knew of Spanish, so I already knew I wasn't going to enjoy whatever it said.
Was she like calling for her children or some shit? Like, what was happening?
We'll get there when we get there. I'll translate each
Okay.
bit as we pass it, but it does not make it better when you know what she's
No.
saying.
No, I would imagine not.
I had to immediately open up the phone. I was like, I get some of this. I don't get all of it. What is she saying? Yeah, this is a horror. This is a horror.
This is a straight horror universe. Like that boss fight really kind of underlined to me that this is just there's actually this is not as tongue-in-cheek or as fun. That there will be a lot more dark humor, but this is a straight up nightmare universe to live in now that this company has taken over the planet, and there is no happy ending in sight for anybody in this situation.
No, yeah, it's hard to picture what happily ever after looks like where we are, unless we make it all the way down to the 18th floor somehow.
Also, I'm happy that one thing that I predicted happened, which was that Donut discovered the chat function, because I knew there would be a chat function. This being MMO coded, like it is, and RPG coded, so like party systems. And the thing I always love doing, and I think I've done this to you guys before, where it's like we could be in a group chat, but I'll send you a private DM just to be like, hey, just take a look at this for a second, and it's just a complete non sequitur, and it means nothing.
Isn't that what private messages are for?
Yeah, yeah. The fact that it makes like a haptic response and that every time she does it, it scares the shit out of him is so funny to me, because he could just be walking along and it's just you just have a text box show up where it's like, I'm hungry. It's like, okay, you can say that with your mouth if you want. That was funny. The fact that the the knowing stares of NPCs in this world, like Mordecai and the goblins, whenever Carl asks something just a little bit too specific about the dungeon, and they either can't or are unwilling or are too horrified to talk about it. That's making a lot more sense now. Yeah, because there are like varying degrees of, even if you survive this situation, there's probably not a good outcome waiting for you at the end of it. And
Well, yeah, we know Mordecai survived going through it, and he doesn't seem to be having a good time.
he doesn't. And we also know now that PvP is definitely a thing,
Yep.
even at the lower levels, like 1 through 3. Like we were hearing that like there's a bit of safeguards in place, not a whole lot, but even then, it doesn't stop people from literally just murdering each other. So that was a stark realization. Of course, it's funny to me, Carl getting as incredulous and as angry about it as he did, when he doesn't know what the situation was. He has no idea if this woman attacked someone else and they, like did something in self defense. He has no
Right.
idea what the situation is, but he's making a lot of assumptions. And the thing that we've learned about Carl is that while he may be able to figure out things from a structural or like systemic point of view, like he can figure out what the game systems do, he's actually really bad at reading situations initially. So he has no idea what happened there. And he's one to talk about the subject of morality, considering things that he does later. So he's trying so hard to remain what he thinks is a good person, when those kinds of concepts really kind of don't exist down here in the dungeon. It's really just survival for survival's sake at this point. And it's funny to me that Donut is kind of getting on board with that faster than he is, because
She is a
uh,
cat, so
she is a cat, and she does have a more. I don't know if I would think of cats as being more pragmatic than other creatures, but yeah, I would think that cats would be a little bit more. Hey, this is the situation that's being presented in front of us. We kind of have to deal with it as it comes. So, but Jesus, the the shades of gray and dark gray that have been encountered down in the dungeon. And
Already, yeah.
I love that her high charisma is already coming into play, because I was wondering, her stats being so much higher than Carl, you know, how that was going to come in. So, Timmy, what did you think of what we've read so far?
Dude, these are the best chapters so far that we've read.
Right, right.
I loved every friggin' second of this. It also, I know we had like fewer words, you know, so
Mhm.
that makes it seem faster. But dude, I just blazed through these, and then I was like, again, where I had to be like, I gotta put this down. I hit the limit. I can't keep going, even though I kind of low key want to just finish this book in like a sitting and get the second one and like start it the next day. So yeah, I'm enjoying a lot. You covered a lot of the ground. The thing you missed though that I would love to point at and is my favorite part of this so far, the entire goblin camp.
Oh yeah, I
I
was going to elaborate
loved
more when we actually went through the whole thing.
I loved those goblins so much. The Gilmore Girl goblins, love them.
Mhm.
It's funny that we were just talking about Gilmore Girls, I think, last time, and then
Yeah,
that came up. Yeah.
yeah.
I was kind of hoping they were going to get a companion out of that. I didn't know if like NPCs could be companion, and then they kind of nipped that in the bud during that scene, and I'm like, oh man,
Look,
I would actually like that.
maybe the Gilmore Girls are now going to be hunting these guys down. I would.
There, it's kind of what I was wanting last time, where I wanted a named or a fucking rival kind of character to be made. Or was that you last time? I forget who
That was me.
suggested that. That was
That was
you.
me.
Yeah, you called that shit so
Well, we
much.
haven't called nothing yet. I'm still hoping. It's just before I was like, I want a monster that they have animosity towards, and now we have a monster, and the animosity is more towards Carl. I'm over here like, yeah.
Yeah, kind of deservedly, if there's animosity there. Yeah.
It's like a Kill Bill 2 scene. You know, we're bastards and we deserve to die and they deserve to kill us. So yeah, dude, I loved every second of this. This was a fun one. Doesn't end on a cliffhanger so much this time or as last time, but
A bit.
but the popcorniness of just wanting to keep going, the next page is like picking up, and getting to this point now where it's like, all right, I gotta put it down and just never touch it again for 2 weeks.
Do you know what this felt like more than any of the other sections that we've read so far?
Huh.
It really felt like we had an opening like chapter or two where we had like the cold open, and then we would have had like an opening credit sequence, and then that last scene where they're like leaving and heading trying to find an exit. You feel like end credit music could have like started at that point, and then they do their line, and then they drive off, and then credits. Like it felt like we read an episode of something that time, because like enough happened in that where it like so much has developed now in just those few like couple of chapters we read, that I'm right there with you. I'm like, I could have just kept going and kept reading. Like I'm so in right now with these characters.
That was me when the first time I read the book. It was just like finished it I finished, I think, all 7 in like a week or so. So
I can believe it. Again, I kind of want to sit in a like one sitting and just like no life them.
Kind of like how you're doing a Baldur's Gate right now.
I'm on my second playthrough in a row.
It was funny. He finished it, and then he was like on his phone, like reading some stuff, and I'm just like, "You planning your next one?" And he was just like, "Oh yeah, I'm just like I wanted to know a few things before I started." Like, and then I leave for a bit, and then I come out of my room a little bit while later, and then I just look, and it's the opening again. I'm like, "Oh, another run." Ah, might as well. I'm right here.
why not? Why not? I mean, if you move on to some other big game, then you gotta like make some space on the hard drive, and it's a whole thing.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you play it on?
PC.
Oh, okay. Well, that's not as bad then. Like, I played the whole like 5 minutes of it that I played on PS5, and I'm just like always looking for to clear more hard drive space every time I get a new game for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Jennifer, what were your overall thoughts?
Overall thoughts, yeah, these were way more fun, for sure. I think we finally got out of the exposition kind of mode, and now we're actually getting to have some fun. So I enjoyed these quite a bit more. I will say, dead people aren't nearly as fun though. So that was interesting though. And I think the idea that when we're going through and they're kind of doing the first episode, we're finding out that there's some pretty large groups going at it. It's curious to see how that'll play out, I think, because obviously we only have Carl and Donut right now.
Mm-hmm.
So they don't have as much power behind them to take on a lot of those bigger bosses, but they seem to be doing all right for themselves at the moment. So I mean, except for killing infants. I'm not sure I enjoy killing infants. I'm going to throw that out there. I don't care if they're goblins.
Controversial.
I don't care if they're goblins. But no, definitely a lot more fun. I will say I really enjoy Lorelai and Rory because who doesn't love a good Gilmore Girls reference? And that they're the best goblins ever. I am kind of curious though about how Donut's charisma will do against the fact that they just killed, a bunch of infants. Does that counteract the fact that, you just killed a bunch of their children if they come across them again? So I think that'll be interesting to definitely see. But otherwise, I'm curious to see how some of the spells go because Donut got to learn a new spell. And I'm kind of hoping that, Carl gives her the other spell because it sounds interesting. And I'm kind of picturing like this ghost-like shiny cat wandering around. So that was just in my head the entire time. But no, I think these chapters were definitely way better and I enjoyed them more. And I did not want to stop. I could have hung up and just kept going and y'all could have gone on and I would have been okay.
See you next time.
Yeah,
Just keep reading.
Yeah, I want to find out what weird achievements we got this time. I'm sure they're great.
I do like the thought that like if they run into these goblins again, like how much leeway does Donut's extreme charisma buy them over the fact that we murdered your babies? Like it seems like those skills would be real hard to even.
We're sorry.
Yeah, whoops. We didn't mean to. We didn't know they were there.
The thing is, though, too, like it could very well be spun into it was an accident because we also know that parts of the of that area collapsed on themselves because it was inaccessible after that. They
It's
weren't
true.
able to get any of the loot. So it may be a thing where they try to spin it as, hey, when we left, it was all fine when we left. And I guess one of your machines like must have blown up and made that whole coal pile fall off and crush all those babies. If anything, it's on the goblin engineers.
I mean, deception is a charisma trait in 5e at least. So yeah, maybe that works.
I will say it was definitely impressive the way they got the whole new vehicle. So curious to see how they use that in the future because I'm sure that's going to be a big part of it. But
Or it breaks
and
very soon.
yeah, that would be funny. But yeah, and the stockpiling and stealing of every single thing they could find at the goblin camp.
I mean, given that they blew it up immediately after, probably a good move. Yeah.
You probably, yeah.
Plus, if they were to believe the accident angle for a story, does that mean that they can take over the Goblin Gang and now they have a Mad Max gang that's traveling with them? Like,
I am
you,
now
you never
David
know.
Bowie, the Goblin
Ooh.
King. You will follow me.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm just like, because we don't know. I'm starting to think that the entire floor is just the book. So we don't know how much more time we have on this floor. Like we know that the goblins can't follow them down, but I
Mhm.
mean, but we may just be doing just the one floor for the rest of the book. I mean, we're getting towards the halfway point, and we're still 3 days off from the floor collapsing. So could very well still develop. Of course, I would be fine with them also having a Mad Max chase towards the exit to get out because
That would be awesome.
really the stairs now there's salvation from what is possibly this entire goblin biker gang chasing them throughout the floor. So we'll see what happens there. Because he has them behind him, and he has whatever crawlers that he may be, because they may be foreshadowing that they're going to be running into some powerful crawlers soon. Who knows?
We could be running into guy who murdered other person for all we know.
We could be running into Mecha Grandma like I want. You never know.
That would be amazing. With
at
her
the end of
walker and with her.
Yeah, exactly.
Someone did mention a murder hobo at one point, which I think that might have been a Tim thing last time. It was like just a
Maybe.
hobo with a gun, or with a knife, rather.
Yeah, we're still on the lookout for homeless person and mecha grandma. So I think at the end of today's section, we're at 33%. So we're exactly a third of the way through the book at the end of this section. So, okay, let's get into the chapters. So if you recall, we left off last time with Carl throwing a stick of dynamite and hoping that it wouldn't explode when it hit the ground. And this chapter starts with it blew when it hit the ground. So
Of course.
Yeah. Surprising no one. And he closed the door and ran when he threw it, but apparently it did some serious damage to him nonetheless. In fact, the wooden door splinters and like hunks of wood start flying. So, and he's in the red. He gets a danger low health warning for, I guess, the first time. And they're like, okay, well, that was something. Let's go see what we killed. And he starts healing. It seems like pretty much right away. He says, Mordecai said I'd be fully healed in 2 minutes, but that's a long time when you're in pain. So I still don't know if that tells us whether or not he can heal mid-battle. I don't know that we're in the middle of a battle at this point, but
yeah. That's a gray area.
But
I don't know if he was in battle for gameplay reasons.
Yeah, like it's hard to know what the game considers,
He heals
or the
quick.
dungeon.
Even for like he's supposed to be like 2 minutes to heal. He's pretty much Wolverine.
True.
It's probably for the best.
Yeah, for pacing.
It's like Carl has to spend 3 days in traction after this fight, and it's not terribly interesting.
Even 2 minutes, if he just was like sitting there like, oh, that hurts so much. Oh, I have to now remember every part of my life leading up to this to fill this pain time.
But he's killed dozens of the bugs with that stick of dynamite, which that's always nice. There's some experience for you. And this room was full of trash. Now it's full of like burning trash. So that's not a huge improvement.
Not for the smell.
Yeah.
No,
and
not.
As they step in, he's thinking, why would they have brought like garbage from the human world into the dungeon? Like, what is the point of that? And then he's like, or Donut goes, wait, do you hear music? And he gets an achievement for Boss Babe. You've struck a blow against a dungeon boss and caused damage to it. Fun fact, for crawlers who make it through the tutorial, this achievement is by far most often the last achievement they ever receive. Isn't that interesting? I believe that.
He may have been in combat for gameplay reasons.
Mm.
If you struck damage,
yeah,
and you hear music, that's combat.
The door regenerates and magically seals behind them, and they are locked into the boss battle. They have discovered a neighborhood boss.
He was technically in a cutscene. That was what was going on.
It does kind of seem that way.
It does feel that way.
They do that versus thing, so yeah, you have to allow the Sailor Moon transformation to happen.
Oh no, that's going to be in my head. That'll be amazing.
I love that. Yeah, so this woman stands up. It looks about 35 years old, enormously fat, filthy, ripped clothing, a blue pair of sweatpants with the word pink on the leg, and 15 feet tall, by the way. That's just like an added after the fact sort of detail. And then all of a sudden their mugshots or like a mugshot style thing pops up in a frame floating in the air. And then one of Donut, and then versus the Hoarder, level 7 neighborhood boss.
That poor woman.
Yeah.
You don't even know.
Oh no.
And so this battle starts. There's like video game fighting music. There's a huge like thing in the air. It's great. And already like she's lost 3/4 of her health. Like that stick of dynamite really did them a big favor because they probably would have been screwed otherwise.
Hey, if you can do the first hit on a boss, always do it forever.
Fair.
You never want to aggro something and be caught unawares. So it's always better to first strike.
And so this woman like reaches out for them, and he says her voice sounds deep, beefy, and scared. And all we get is the Spanish, because Carl doesn't understand it. Donut doesn't understand it. So they have no idea what she's saying all throughout this. But what she says in this first section is, "Help me, please. I don't know what is going on. My stomach hurts. I don't know where I am. Please, I don't feel good."
Oh God.
In the end, I think he probably did help her. I don't think there was any saving her.
And Carl's like, "I think she's a person. Like, she was in her house when this happened, and they turned her into this. We should help her." And Donut's like, no. And she just starts shooting magic missiles at this woman. And let's see, the woman says, "Help me," again. And when she opens her mouth, roaches come out and then attack them.
Oh.
So yeah, that's horrifying.
Oh God.
I do have a question about this, though, because he's able to understand the languages of every other thing around this basement. So why in the world can he not understand her?
That is an excellent question.
It just seems random, because everybody else he has no issue translating, but it's just her.
I guess maybe they don't want anyone understanding what the bosses are saying, because maybe that would affect the gameplay, or maybe they're under a different kind of code than the
They're
crawlers.
looking for drama. This is
Mm.
drama.
The people
drama.
watching
It
at
would be
home
more
can
dramatic
understand.
though if he understood, because then maybe he wouldn't want to
Exactly.
kill her, and he'd be like trying to save her.
I mean, he did.
I don't
He's
know
like,
that
"Maybe we
Carl
should
would
help
have
her."
that.
And Donut's like, "Nope."
Yeah, Donut's in charge here. Let's be honest.
Something I was half expecting to happen was if during the compilation, that if they were going to show that scene and they were going to put like subtitles or something down at the bottom, and he would have been like, "Oh my God."
That would be hilarious. Yeah. But so he's trying to kill the bugs as they're coming. But remember, they're walking in garbage, and so he gets like metal hunks of something stuck in his foot, and he has to pick one of the roaches up and just rip its head off.
Which it's gross, man.
Yeah, it's so gross. But then he finds a metal like dog leash and wraps it around his fist. Like, okay, now I'm gonna punch some shit. And he
That
tells
was a
Donut,
badass moment. I loved that.
yeah,
It was also attached to
improvise.
petrified dog.
So yeah, a dog skeleton that
Yeah.
was in the middle of the Hoarder's horde. Yeah,
It's a horror show now.
I mean, he
yeah.
was wondering why it would bring all this garbage in. That means that was her dog that was in her apartment, probably. Like, this whole room was probably her apartment.
Quite possible, unless they just pulled a bunch of random garbage from places.
You see, interesting, because I figured, since they're monsters anyway, the corporation, that this was just a person, and they just cast her as the Hoarder. And that has nothing to do with who she was. She could have been the nicest human being in the world. She went out and helped people every day. And they were like, "You are an ogre." And they just turned her into a Hoarder and covered her in garbage. And she has no idea who she is, and she's vomiting cockroaches. Because we have good guy corporate people overseeing all of this.
But no, the billionaires are always looking out for our best interests. What are you talking about?
Yeah, especially alien billionaires.
Yeah. So yeah, Carl says to distract her, and he's gonna try to get around behind her. I also love. He's like, "Use your claws, come on!" And he gets bitten by one of these cockroaches while he's trying to get over there. But yeah,
It takes a chunk out of his leg.
Yeah, that's a fun part about reading something, is that you can imagine how much a chunk out of his leg is.
I know. Just assume it's a giant bite, and you can kind of see the bite mark. Yeah,
that's what I saw too.
but he manages to get the leash around her throat and starts choking her, and her health is slowly going down. So
Jabba the Hutt style.
Yep, that makes Carl Princess Leia. That's an interesting picture.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he's not wearing pants.
True.
Yeah, fair. And so, he thinks, I need brass knuckles, like actual ones, because eventually the chain that he's wrapped around his fist breaks when he's choking her with this thing. But eventually she goes down, and she's dying, and she has a chance to give some last words before he punches her to death. She says, "I'm sorry if I was a bad person." And she closes her eyes, and tears are streaming down her face, and she's like, I didn't want my daughter to get sick. I don't want to go to hell. Please, please send me to Jesus.
Oh, that was why she
I
said
could live without
Jesus?
that.
Oh.
I was good
Yeah.
with the Spanish.
It's a horror show.
Yeah, no, it doesn't make any of this better, except that I guess it kind of like Carl goes, "I'm sorry," and punches her in the face repeatedly until she dies. And it's like she was kind of asking you for it. Maybe that makes it a tiny bit better.
Maybe she was asking for a more humane way, Carl.
Right? Instead of just punching the crap out of her until she dies.
Carl over here, like, I don't want to be an asshole, and then immediately just punching this poor transformed woman to death.
But I thought that made it sound like she was a legit hoarder. She's like, I didn't mean for my daughter to get sick.
Yeah,
Oh, it kind
it's
of
like,
sounds like her daughter might be. I don't know.
Right? It's still just vague enough that it can be
Yeah.
either anything that you kind of want it to be.
And then there's the declaration that they're the royal court of Princess Donut won the boss fight. All the roaches that are left just drop dead. The music ends. And yay, we won.
what did you win, Carl? Do you feel like a good person?
You won
They
a
won a
bunch of
map.
nightmares.
Yeah.
She dropped exactly one piece of loot, a neighborhood map. That once
Really
they
worth
looted
it.
it populates a square mile of mini-map. So potentially useful.
But what about your soul?
There's a map for that too. You just got to kill more people.
It shows them, among other things, a tutorial guild so they can go talk to Mordecai, and also the corpse of crawler Rebecca W, level 3. And she's not far. She says she's about 200 meters from the safe room. And Donut goes, let's loot her. Let's go loot her corpse. Like, she's excited. And Carl's like, I want to talk to Mordecai first.
Yeah, Carl really needs some answers after what just happened, because first boss fight, and it was straight up just a large human being who did not seem like they were transformed in any meaningful way other than being very large.
Yeah. And yeah, that's like the first thing he asks is like, is this going to be a thing where they're taking people from the real world and turning them into bosses?
Is this just life now?
Yes.
And Mordecai's like, not always. There will be a lot of recycling from previous iterations, sometimes human, sometimes not, but it won't always be that obvious. We also find out from Mordecai there are 6 types of bosses: neighborhood, borough, city, province, country, and floor. And so the neighborhood boss they just fought is the weakest variety of boss.
Fun.
Yeah.
Can't wait to see the big ones.
Well, and he tells them, like, these higher level bosses, there's only the first 3 on kind of bosses on this level. They don't get bigger than that. But the higher level ones are really designed for larger parties than just the 2 of you. So don't mess with that.
Got to make some friends. That's what I got out of that.
Yeah, I keep wanting there to be more crawlers and possibly a larger party. We may get that. We may get that towards the end.
Oh yeah, we're getting a DPS next. There's no way we're not, unless it's
They
a
also
did
healer.
mention that.
It might
also
be
get
a
a
healer.
That would be helpful. Well, Carl Hill's pretty quick. But
Carl
they also
heals
get
quick. The cat doesn't.
Yeah, fair. They also get a
And the
star
cat's
after their
afraid to, like,
name.
use her claws for anything, which,
She
gonna
doesn't
have
want to
deal
get
with that.
messy, you know?
Well, do you want to live?
Do you want? Yeah, fair. Now that they've killed the neighborhood boss, they have a bronze star after their name, so everyone who looks can see that they've killed a boss. So that's nice. And then they open their boxes and start looking at achievements. And once again, Donut just like reads the spell book before even paying any attention to what it is, and she gets upset because it's not a cool spell. Although anyone who's done any dungeon crawling, she gets the spell Torch. Like, anything that gives you light, that's good. Keep that.
And it apparently gets better the more she uses it.
Yeah, it'll level up.
Great spell.
Yeah.
It was
And-
just funny for that moment because she had opened so many boxes with so many torches, and she's just like, "Oh, great, new spell torch." That actually did make me laugh because I'm like, I could see why you'd get disappointed, but like, no, that is a really good spell though.
It does make all those torches even more pointless now that she has a spell to do the same
You
thing.
can sell them at a store. It's still
Or throw
money.
them.
Yeah.
Light them and throw them. Light them and throw
Yeah.
them.
Yeah, because then they're physical objects you can use. Like the spell sounds like it's like kind of like a wisp of
Yeah, it's like a Ball of light.
of
Yeah.
light. Yeah, that follows you around. But the torches are always going to be useful.
Carl gets Iron Punch level 3. With a skill like this, you can always find work as a 1920s street tough or a collection agent for a bookie. War Gauntlers and Lumpers will protect your hands and enhance your punch damage without losing your bare knuckle bonus. So that's nice. From using the dynamite, he gets more dynamite.
I mean, that follows. If you were like specking into something, you would want more of that something.
Absolutely, and the dynamite was damn useful. So.
Oh yeah.
Also, most proper game design usually has the game analyzing how you're playing and knowing what skills you've been using, so they know what loot to drop for you that's potentially going to be useful for your build.
Yeah. He gets a spell, tome, wisp armor, which gives you armor against magic attacks, not physical. But he does not have enough MP to use it yet, or mana, whatever. And then he gets enchanted spiked knee pads, which reflect 10% of armor, or of damage rather, and also cancels all momentum-based attacks. Which I just feel like that's got to be useful, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know what that means, because like, is that his, like if someone like slams him against something, like it cancels it out? Like if someone tries to push him, like I'm wondering how that's going to come into play.
Yeah, what constitutes a momentum-based attack? That is an important question here.
If you find yourself fighting a Newton's cradle that is about to hit you, does it reflect the momentum back into the cradle?
Goblin tackles him. He doesn't move. It's like hitting a brick wall. Breaks the goblin's neck.
Wow, that would be nice.
Because he's also reflecting damage too. Yeah,
he is reflecting damage too.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Donut's like, okay, you look even more ridiculous with like hedgehogs as knee pads now, essentially. Is there a worse dressed in dungeon award, Mordecai? And he's like, well, kinda, actually, yeah. After the main episode goes, a hosted special comes on with some commentators discussing what's going on in the game. Sometimes they'll interview people, like they'll pull them in after a boss battle and do an on-camera interview. And Donut's like, oh my god, they do interviews? Carl, we have to do this. Make it happen. And I love Carl's just like, I'm not your agent. Like, what the No, you're not. Miss Beatrice is my agent. And once we're reunited with her, she'll make sure I get on the show. She's dead, Donut. I don't know how to tell you, but
yeah,
she's dead as hell.
I like that moment though of Carl and Mordecai.
I don't know. I don't think she's dead though. I feel like she has to make another appearance. Like she can't be gone forever.
She probably will.
Yeah.
She might be a boss fight.
I mean yeah, it's like 50-50 chance here. She's a crawler, she's like some weird
boss fight. Your ex. And we get a Scott Pilgrim versus scene.
That would be hilarious.
I mean, the versus thing that popped up was kind of Scott Pilgrim-y, I gotta say.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked Mordecai before they leave, can we loot the dead woman? And he's like, yeah, crawlers drop everything but their unopened loot boxes. So go ahead.
Go nuts.
And he has a discussion with Donut about, like, you need to start getting in there and using your claws. And she has to admit, like, I'm scared of getting hurt. What if I hit something and it hits me back? I don't want to get hit back. And I love his line, like, how is it that you can be so reckless and yet so timid at the same time? And she's like, I don't know. I don't control my instincts.
Has Donut taken any damage yet?
No.
Like any substantial? Okay. So that's what I was wondering. I'm like, can she take any damage? Like, how many hit points does she have?
Very little.
Yeah, her con is super low, so probably not much.
Yeah.
Well, she stands back and throws magic.
And then runs.
And then runs.
Yes. And doesn't tell you important info like there's babies.
She says, I'm just a few generations shy of being a ferocious tiger. And he's like, I've seen your pedigree. You're a few generations shy of nothing. Also, your grandfather was your uncle. The world of breeding cats. But they find the corpse of crawler Rebecca W. completely naked, no gear whatsoever. And they discover that she has been shot. And when examining her, it says killed by crawler Frank Q. And the only thing in her inventory is an apple core. And Donut is like, my goodness, this Frank Q gentleman doesn't seem like a decent person at all. And on the other hand, Carl is like having sort of an existential crisis that, like, humans in here are killing each other? Seriously? One more thing to worry about.
PvP confirmed.
Yeah. And then he remembers the last thing he said the last day he saw his father. You're a bully, and nobody likes you. It's why mom left. Okay. That's
We start learning some of his anime backstory.
right.
It's got to have angst.
It's like, maybe this Frank Q isn't human. Maybe he's one of those Cocker Spaniels. Yes, this is definitely the work of a Cocker Spaniel. And he's like, she's clearly killed with a gun. She's like, yeah, maybe the dog had a gun.
I seriously wonder what's so bad about Cocker Spaniels.
Well, it says their neighbor had a dog named Angel who was a Cocker Spaniel.
Yeah.
And it's like, I don't remember the woman's name, but B was friends with her. And every once in a while, the Cocker Spaniel would burst into the apartment and pee on the floor and bark at Donut.
There are so many worse dogs than a Cocker Spaniel.
I think maybe just Donut had encountered them.
Yeah, Donut's just racist towards Cocker Spaniels because she had a bad experience with one.
Yeah.
She's probably never seen other dogs. She's a bit spoiled.
She's very spoiled.
And inbred.
That too.
Apparently. What if he's like one of those murder hobos you hear so much about? She says, and there's your murder hobo reference.
Yeah.
I did enjoy the murder hobo. I was like, I definitely am on board with the we need a murder hobo.
And we find out that like when Carl leaves the TV on, it was that channel that plays the A-Team and Charles Bronson movies. So she's seen a lot of those. But Miss Beatrice left it on Lifetime and HGTV, so she sees a lot of that also. What a varied experience in human television she's had.
Old is Donut.
This is a good question, actually.
Because, like, who watches TV anymore?
Carl.
Apparently. And there's a channel that plays a bunch of A-Team. I don't know what channel that would be.
Right.
Well, they were saying that he turns it on while he's not at home, so he doesn't actually watch it. It seems he just leaves it on that channel.
I don't know why. It seems like something I can totally see him watching, like old westerns or A-Team just playing in the background. I don't know.
Maybe it's just supposed to be like the sound is supposed to be keeping the cat company or something.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like he was aware he was leaving it on, though.
I like that too.
That's what I thought was that just like he just would walk away and leave it on when he went to work. And I was just like, but who does that? Who's just like, yeah, TV stays on all day, whatever.
I've heard of people doing that, saying that it's a security feature where if you hear a TV is on in an apartment, it's less likely to get broken into. Like, I've heard that. I think that's a myth. It sounds like it would work, though.
I'm going to go around and break into apartments all day tonight, and I'm going to tell you if I go into ones where I hear, like, BA talking on the TV.
I mean, yeah, if what you're hearing is, like, gunfire and Mr. T going, I pity the foo, maybe I would skip that one anyway.
I'll skip this one.
I just love the turn of phrase, all day tonight, I'm going to do this.
All day tonight. This is happening, Mike.
All day, tonight.
To the break of night.
Speaking of television, our next chapter starts with them watching the premiere episode of Dungeon Crawler World Earth, which we find out that like apparently most of the aliens watch it in like some weird VR, but they don't get that. They get the 2D screens, that it doesn't actually make as much sense. There's about 4 million people left when the show premieres. So yeah, it seems like it's definitely gone down to a trickle of people dying. And the show, it seems okay. It has a recap of last season. The Squim Conglomerate presents Battle for Planet Errol, where there's like gorilla creatures in a big last man standing sort of Roman Colosseum tournament.
God, that made me laugh.
You like the idea of apes just crying, don't you?
I don't know what it is. It may be Futurama. It may be like Venture Bros. But all it reminded me of was those people being put into that gladiatorial game. And he's just like, look, I am Ghost Robot. I am a ghost in a robot. We do not have to fight. We do not have to be enemy. And then he kills him. And it just always makes me laugh.
That is some classic Venture Bros right there. Ghost Robot.
But characters being put into a gladiatorial games and being forced to kill each other, and it's just such a comical fucking thing. Like I don't know if it's Star Trek that started that stupid trope, but it always makes me laugh.
I believe it was the ancient Romans.
I mean, you know what I mean. Like, as part of a fucking drama of a television show, two best friend characters are put into mortal combat with each other, and it is so always dumb and funny to me. But yes, the gladiators might have been invented by the Romans. I'm sure it happened before that too, Tim.
I'm pretty sure gladiator is a Roman word.
There's probably a Greek word for like a blood sport thing.
Yeah.
Look, all day tonight, I'm gonna research and see if there were gladiators before the Romans.
That's just the new thing. All day tonight.
All day tonight, baby. That's the name of this episode. All day tonight.
Oh my gosh. So Tally, they're back in the safe room where Tally makes them yummy food. He says that they put everybody in. They split them up into teams at first, and then they basically keep fighting until there's one guy left. And they tell him, the last survivor, like, your family will be safe if you win. And Carl goes, Are they safe? And he's like, yeah, but no, because the squim conglomerate just saps the planet dry. Like, no more atmosphere, no more anything. So yeah, they leave you alone after the big fight, but you don't really live.
The funny thing about that to me was the fact that Carl contemplated at the beginning staying on the surface, and basically that means that at the end of those games, the whole I could just stay on the surface and maybe make a go of it up here. You pretty much always have that as an option, because even if you win, you have to still live on the desolated surface of this dead planet now.
Yeah, there's no winning that game.
No.
Yeah.
I love how we're in the more humane evil corporation game.
Yeah, this one's way better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So much better.
No one's won this one.
It's true.
Yeah.
And it looks like you get recycled into being now the mooks. Yeah. I don't know if this is more humane than just blood sport land.
And so they go into the human world. They're introducing Earth now on the show. First, they talk about human anatomy by showing some naked people and talking about... It says they spent an inordinate amount of time discussing male testicles and female ovaries for some reason.
It would have been great if the narrator was like, we don't know exactly how these work, but we think that the humans rub these together, and then sparks come out, and then babies. Back to you, Jim.
And then they start showing like shots of Earth, and he's like, they're clearly cherry picking the shittiest stuff, like shanty towns, garbage dumps. There's a shot from a Godzilla movie in there. There's a dead horse for some reason. There's that kid from the Charlie Bit My Finger YouTube video. I like that makes the cut of shittiest parts of Earth. Is that YouTube video.
There was war, famine, and memes. Obviously, we have improved on things.
Yeah, Carl's like, they're trying to make it look like they're the good guys saving us from our horrible selves. And Donut, who has lived on Earth her entire life, immediately buys into the propaganda and is like, I didn't realize Earth was so terrible. That's disgusting.
It's like an awful infomercial that you see late at night, but instead of the guy going, with just the price of a cup of coffee, but instead he says, for the price of a cup of coffee, you can give all of these children sticks that they can fight each other with.
And after that, we get 40 minutes straight of people dying, just over and over. Some of these groups are massive. It says up to 1,000 people, and he watches some of them like trampling each other, trying to get away from mobs. And there's a guy with a broadsword cutting up floating eyeball things. There's all sorts of little bits and pieces that they show. There's even a burrow boss, the first one that got defeated. And it's like 10 people with shotguns and bows and arrows taking on a nightmare pile of mouths and eyeballs and flesh. So clearly, some of these bosses, if they were starting as humans, they are not recognizable, as Mordecai said.
I'm really hoping we're getting a little bit of foreshadowing here, and I want to at least meet Broadsword Guy. He sounds cool.
And then there's a 13-year-old girl with a pair of Rottweilers who he says is from South America, and she's wearing a soccer jersey and just like ripping through cow-sized spiders.
This one's definitely showing up later.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They even gave
I
her a
think-
name. Like,
Yep.
she's coming. I don't know if she's a goodie or a baddie, but she's coming.
Like it shows later, one of the dogs has gotten a chainmail sweater to wear. We need to get that for Donut. She needs some armor.
That would be cool.
Yeah, get on it, Carl.
And yes, the girl's name is Lucia Mar, and her dogs are called Cece and Gustavo 3. And this brings us to like, how exactly does the naming convention in the dungeon work? He's just Carl. And he's like, so I guess I was the first Carl in the dungeon? And Gustavo is the third Gustavo that didn't have a last name, and that's why he's Gustavo 3. It's just...
That sounds plausible enough.
Yeah. But we know that, like, Crawler Frank Q has a letter at the end of his name because he has a last name, so...
Or maybe that dog's father's name was Gustavo Jr., and, he's the third.
Gustavo the third, sure.
Perhaps.
And Carl's just Carl because he's a pet.
At this point, pretty much.
Yeah,
A little bit.
It's Princess Donut who's like in charge.
And the show ends, and they were not on the show, and Donut is outraged. And then an announcement comes up, so a woman's voice saying, "Good job, everybody. We've had 15 borough bosses taken, and over 1,500 neighborhood bosses already killed." So yeah, killing a neighborhood boss doesn't seem nearly so impressive when that's one of 1,500. A pair of crawlers even came across a city boss, but that ended as you might expect. Losses are right on the projected track, so it's good to know that we're meeting expectations. And then we start going into the patch notes. The Firefinger spell should be safe to cast. We fixed the hallway bathroom bug, so if you open the door and someone else enters, they will no longer explode. That's
God,
nice.
That was funny.
Yeah, I was like, it was
God,
good to
that
know
was
that was an
funny.
option.
We also fixed the unlimited toilet paper bug. You now get one roll per floor. So, okay.
I was like, what's
Make
wrong
it
with the
count.
unlimited toilet paper? Like, why was this a problem?
Yeah, why is that bad?
People kept eating it. Fucking players, man.
One of the big bugs they patched is you can no longer transport mobs to your inventory to kill them, which I think Tim totally called was clearly an exploit that someone could use.
You have to. If it's like video game coded, you have to try to break it.
Yep,
Mhm.
and it has been patched now.
Somebody gained a few levels though, and it was easy.
I hope they did it to an enormous boss. Like, all right, in the inventory you go.
This also introduces the fact that there may be exploits that Carl is going to figure out that he can maybe take advantage of.
Yeah, before they patch them, if he's the first one to use them.
To be fair, it'll be Princess Donut.
Oh,
Totally.
you're right.
Yeah,
She's
she's the brains of this operation. Carl is operating entirely too emotionally.
brawn. Yeah. He's like, oh, should I do this? No. Okay, let's do it.
Yeah.
They've also fixed the inventory bug that was saving the momentum of an item when it entered your inventory, which that would have been awesome.
Wonderful.
Oh my God.
As a weapon and also just to travel around.
Yep.
God, that was just reminding me of like Breath of the Wild type shit, where you would just launch things, and that was how people did speed running.
The staircases down to level 2 are now populating, but they're encouraging them, don't go down the staircases early. If you go down early, you'll actually end up getting to the next floor later than the people who go down no earlier than 6 hours before the level collapse.
You also be kept in stasis.
Yeah.
Which the
Now,
only
yeah,
bad thing about that is you don't level and no one's watching you. I love that you got a meta game.
Yeah, because that's the thing. Why would you leave a level before the timer runs out? Like you gotta farm out those mooks before you leave. You gotta clear the area.
I guess it's those people who have no idea what they're doing and they're just trying to survive.
Yep.
Which, I mean, essentially is going to kill them in the end. But
They're holding out hope that they can somehow sneak down every single level without getting killed or having to do anything. And the announcement ends with now get out there and kill, which was another title I considered for the podcast was kill. Seemed a little bit aggressive.
Touch.
Hey, we get clicks though. And they're like, "This isn't a true crime podcast." Damn it!
Maybe I'll stay anyway and read this book. Donut wants to do something amazing, go kill some more boss. She wants to go find a city boss and kill that. That'll get them on the show for sure. That'll get you murdered for sure. But he says, no, our priority needs to be finding an exit so that we can get off this floor. And he's like, do the math. If it's 200 million square miles and there's only 75,000 staircases down, it's going to be tough to find one.
Yeah, that's the deal when you find a timed dungeon like this. Like, you got to secure that exit, and then you can start doing some side quest stuff.
And we have 3.5 days left on this floor to find the staircase. The next chapter 15 starts with, hey, we're back where we started. We're right back at the beginning of the dungeon where they ran into that goblin murder dozer. And he's figured out that, like, everything is divided into these grids. There's like a big square, and each square is divided into 4 smaller squares that are these neighborhoods. So the Hoarder's neighborhood with the roaches was one of the 4 in this square. The llamas are one of them. The goblins are one of them. I'm not sure if it says what the 4th one was. And mobs don't respawn in the neighborhood once you've killed the boss, so there's not much. You can't really farm any more XP there.
Question about that.
Yeah.
We definitely saw the roaches die when the Hoarder died.
Mm-hmm.
But goblins didn't despawn. Was
Do
it
we
just
know?
because, like, the roaches were, like, a spell?
Well, I don't know if it was just the ones in that room that were part of the boss battle, or if it was all of them in the entire neighborhood.
Mm.
And also, do we know the goblins didn't despawn?
We know that because he did see a bunch of white dots approaching.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
Yeah, so they were still around, which begs the question: was that an actual boss room? I know it was, but
it's a nursery
nice
room.
Yeah.
Just the daycare.
It was the daycare. Yeah.
Oh, it does mention what the 4th segment is, because it's the slimes, and he tries to punch one, and it just like burns him.
I misread that at first, and I thought that it had dissolved his arm off at a certain point, and I had to like reread that paragraph because I was like, "Wait, are we gonna be running with like he's got to regrow his arm back from like a bone, like Logan does? Like what the hell?"
No, he just lost the right arm of his leather jacket, so now he's walking around with like one arm missing from his jacket.
I missed the jacket.
It polished up his metal like chain around his fist real nice.
I would have actually, if it was me, I would rip off the other one. So I was just like, all right, sleeveless leather vest now, I guess. So here we go.
Yeah, totally.
I think I probably would too. Like, why keep the one arm?
Just punch with your other arm into the...
Like 80s music video or something.
Oh, okay. Michael Jackson, one glove. Okay. And then, as I think Mike mentioned, Donut has, we find out that Donut knows how to use the chat feature now. And not only does she keep popping up stuff and it gives him like this haptic buzz that freaks him out, but also she types in all caps.
A cat would.
She's new to the internet. She never even got to be on the internet.
It's like, I got to write in all caps so that you know that what I'm saying is important. Isn't that how that works?
And Donut makes a pretty good argument for like, we're kind of like right on the edge of the map here. If we're going to find a staircase, maybe we should move more towards the middle. And he's like, okay, yeah, but we're actually not here to kill goblins. We're here for something else.
Kill babies.
Yeah, right, yeah.
Yeah. I'm actually kind of surprised that he had this plan. It seems more like it needed Donut to come up with it.
Yeah.
He uses his goblin pass and Donut's charisma to make friends with some goblins. And it's like, hey, we want to talk to some of your engineers, the guys who wear pots on their head. And Donut asks, like, what are your names to these 2 goblins? And they're like, oh, we don't have names. And Donut's like, okay, fine. I'm going to call you BA and you Face and you Murdoch. Now we need a Hannibal at some point. But
I guess she was saying that Carl was Hannibal. I guess.
Oh, maybe.
Implying it.
He did come up with the plan, so.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe Donut is Hannibal.
You know, I can see that.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's the mastermind. Carl is the van since she rides him all the time on his shoulder.
So they head into goblin territory where they find a new kind of goblin, the Goblin Bombard, who is an explosives expert. And then they meet 2 level 7 goblin shamankas, which is the feminine version of shaman. We find out here in a minute. And they're right next to a boss room in a big room with bunch of engineers, bunch of vehicles, tables with all sorts of tools, a giant pile of coal. And Carl says, I want to buy a vehicle from you guys. Or have you make me one real quick. Just something I can take downstairs, maybe, but I need to cover some ground.
I was really hoping for a Mad Max car. I was so hoping for one.
It has to be more pathetic. Everything always
I
has to
know.
be slightly more pathetic.
It has to be shitty, I know.
The Goblin Shamankas, their description tells us, are required to graduate Shamanka University. They have to fuck, cook, and or eat their own parents. 2 of the 3. Most don't pick cook, it says, which just
I mean, if you're going to
disturbing.
eat them, though. I'm just saying.
They're goblins. They like it when they wriggle in their teeth.
Oh.
Yeah.
And so they don't like Carl, despite his goblin pass, until Donut steps in and uses her charisma to insult them, but still make friends. It's like, what is with all the piercings? Is it some kind of performance art? Do you wear all that metal because they made you eat your parents? And I love that she stares at her for a minute and then breaks down crying and is like, yes! Okay. Yes, it's true, I have daddy issues. And Donut names these 2 women Rory and Lorelei.
Best girls.
Yeah. And they say that they can come up with a human-sized chopper with a sidecar for these 2. But you gotta trade us something for it. And they start going through what they have, and what are you guys interested in? And then he remembers, what about these 2 baggies of trailer park grade meth?
I knew the meth was coming back.
Lorelei is into it. She takes a little taste, and she goes, this is dungeon made. This is good shit. Where'd you get it? And so the deal is, you make us the machine, maybe give us some grenades, and we'll tell you where we got the stuff. And they cut the deal. They're not sure, and then Donut goes, do it. And then it's a deal.
In my head, she said it like Palpatine.
Yep.
Do
I
it.
know, right?
Do it.
And Donut is like, do you guys want to come with us? And they're like, oh, we can't. We can't leave the chieftain behind.
You know what's funny? It's like, it felt like some genuine, like, maybe not concern, but like, it was like Donut was actually starting to get attached to them.
Yeah.
She wanted more friends.
And this is where we find out, like, even if we could go with you, we can't leave this floor. Because if we go downstairs, we dissolve. I've seen it happen. And Carl's like, wait. You guys know what's going on here? And the goblin's like, yeah, the smarter mobs like us know the basics, that this is a dungeon, and the deeper you go, the more smart mobs there are. When the floor collapses, you guys die, but we just get, like, we go to sleep until the next dungeon opens. But one of these days we'll wake up and we'll be deeper. That's what they tell us. Kill the crawlers, get better at killing, and you go deeper. And one day we'll be so deep the crawlers will never come, and we will finally have peace.
I love that they have their own metagame that they have to do. And that metagame is the billionaires and capitalists turning poor people against each other for their own gain.
Yes. This is why this is my favorite couple of chapters so far, because the horror is so good right now, where I'm like, oh no, all the monsters you're fighting, they're trying to kill, to keep killing, to level up, to go down further. That means, like, when Mordecai was like, he couldn't go any further, you eventually hit, like, Eden. You hit worlds that are like, there's kids and schools and people have futures and homes, and now you're the invader.
It's so sad that they're like, all we want is to go where we don't get murdered anymore.
Yeah.
When will the
It
killing
sucks.
stop?
I gotta win this game, though.
He's like, yeah, it sucks to be you guys, I guess.
But I don't want to be stuck with you.
Let me go ahead and explode your babies. He didn't do it on purpose.
Basically, he didn't know they were there.
He will have to later.
Yeah, he will. That we will definitely have to cross that bridge.
Yep.
If not now, when?
Like level 13.
Oh, okay.
Right?
When it's school shooter simulator.
Oh, no. Oh. And, okay, so the next chapter starts with the Goblin Copper Chopper, human-sized contraption.
Great word.
It looks like a crackhead's bicycle. All these different pieces just kind of stuck together. It doesn't seem like they're stuck together that well because like the handlebars pop off and the guy just kind of bashes them back on there.
Science, gotta put it just right back on.
And basically you chuck coal in the back and it goes. And he's like, how do you turn it off? He's like, oh, you don't, you just let the coal run out and it'll turn off.
I've driven cars like that. Yeah. You
I love the
you can't really
goblins.
turn it. Yeah, you can't really turn it off, but once the gas runs out, like you just gotta put more gas in. It's fine.
And
So
so
there's no gauge.
there's two unlabeled identical spigots. If it gets too hot, twist this one. If it gets pressure too high, twist the other one. Don't do the opposite because that'll make things worse.
Which means that's totally going to happen at some point. He's going to forget which
Yeah.
one does what.
Very
Well-
soon. I don't think
well,
he's getting to the next floor with it.
I think that the crackhead bike is going to be used as a last ditch effort explosive, and
And like an
it's gonna
IED. Yeah.
But yeah, because they kind of set that up with Chekhov's murder dozer earlier in the thing, where these boilers, when they go off, they explode fantastically, and it's looking like Carl's build is a monk pyromaniac, so it's going to be a lot of fist fighting and strapping bombs to things and throwing bombs into things and makeshift homemade like explosive devices and shit. So the bike, if it's not used to fight something, it's going to be used as like a diversion to get away from something, and that boiler exploding is probably going to be their way out.
He's like, how do I know if it's too hot or if the pressure's too high? There's no gauges. And they're like, you'll know. Don't worry. And they tell him to take as much of the coal as he wants, and he has unlimited inventory space, so he just takes like enormous amounts of coal to put in his inventory because why not? And then when Lorelei comes onto him and is like, "Hey, you want to have some fun before you go?" And Donut jumps in, like, as amusing as it would be to watch Carl disappoint yet another woman, we're on a schedule. Banging monster girls is not the narrative we're going for.
Yeah, the author can't show you all of his fetishes. He's got to save some for the next book, you know.
Yeah.
You got to spread those out.
I just love how meta that is. That's not the narrative we're going for in this story. Maybe next time. Oh, so they tell him, we got the drugs from the llamas over there. And she's like, I knew it! Gear up! They've been holding out on us. We're rolling in 5. And then, like, all of the goblins leave. And they're alone in this room. And so Carl's like, all right, we take everything we can. And Donut's like, and then we kill the chieftain, right? And he's like, yeah, we kill the chieftain. This is going to make exquisite television. And so he takes all their tools, he takes the workbenches that are light enough for him to pick up, all sorts of gunpowder, various alchemical liquids, pieces of metal, just whatever, every single thing that he can pick up and stick in his inventory does, including a bunch more coal.
We're definitely getting some crafting soon.
Yeah.
And then they get a cart and they stick half full barrels of this like black powder type gunpowder on it rather. And he found like a blob of something called hobgoblin pus, which is kind of like C4 that comes with a trigger detonator. And so he sticks that in here too. And Donut's like, do you think Rory and Lorelei will be mad at me? Yeah, I think that maybe.
Def.
Well, he was putting all this garbage together. I just hear in the A-Team theme in my head.
Yeah, right. Exactly. This is the montage. And then he puts a bunch of metal into there. He's basically making like an improvised like claymore, kinda.
Mm-hmm.
And then he puts the I like how he decoys it. He puts some of that detonator because he can detonate like 10 of them at once or something. He puts the detonator things inside the barrels, but also like one on top to distract somebody. So if they come and try to take that detonator off, they won't know about the ones inside. And so Donut is going to open the door. She's going to tell him if it's clear that he can kick the thing in there and get to the boss. And he stands back with it. And she opens the door and she goes, do it. And he kicks it in there and scrambles. They scramble away. They go around 3 corners, make sure they get plenty far away this time. And he goes, okay, did you see the boss? Was he in there? And she goes, yeah. Huge, ugly goblin. Oh, jeez. Sitting there just reading a book. Blow it good. So he hits the button and she goes, there sure were a lot of babies in there too. Then the explosion.
When I was getting towards that, and I was, because we'd already read the bit with the boss that was the hoarder lady. When she had mentioned that their chieftain was soft, when he looked in there, I was half expecting there to be a giant toddler, and I love that it was worse than what I was thinking.
Yes, it was what you were thinking, more numerous.
And God.
And
I just like how she thinks this is not important at all. Like,
no,
just
yeah.
an afterthought. There was a bunch of babies.
Very matter of factly.
She
She
is a
even
cat.
goes, they were really cute, like wearing little oversized jackets like Baby Yoda. It was so adorable. I think you hit one with
Oh.
that cart when you kicked it in there. There were also old ones and pregnant ones. But did you see your level? We're level 8 now. This is awesome. You're welcome, she says.
We're making the highlight reel.
Totally making the highlight royal with that one. I'm just saying. If they don't, we got some problems.
They will because now they're heels.
Yeah, because
The
now
baby
it's going to be
killers.
like, there's a new monster in the dungeon, and his name is Carl. He eats babies and kills them.
Yeah, that's also publicity. They're playing the heel now.
My name is Michael J. Caboose, and I hate babies. Classic Red versus
They have
Blue.
awesome feet.
Oh yeah, that's right. He doesn't have shoes still too, so he's a heel with like bare heels.
And Donut's just like, what do you feel bad about? It's not like they didn't have it coming. They're goblins. And what kind of monsters put babies in a bathroom anyway? But when they get back, everything is wrecked, and all of that coal that was left behind is now burning. They can't even get in there. It's too hot.
A map. I can't get it. It's on fire.
As you mentioned, they see some white dots coming, and they're like, let's get out of here. And they take off. And the chapter ends with Donut being like, you know what? I have to admit, I like it when you blow stuff up. I like it a lot. And that's the end of our section.
And then
Keep killing
credits.
kids, Carl. I love it.
There's that pragmatism coming back.
If you killed more kids, I think B would still be here.
Ouch.
Oh my God.
That's the secret. Her ex-boyfriend is just doing that shit all the time. Okay. Let's move to predictions. We have 5 chapters for next time. So we're reading chapters 19 through 23 for next time. I'm going to put that in the chat so I don't start. Chapter 19 to 23. There you go. That's for next time. So, predictions. What do you think? What are we going to see as we move forward? What do you want to see? What's going to happen? What do you guys think?
I think we're going to find Frank because obviously we need to find Frank. I'm just curious to see. I kind of feel like he's going to end up on our side somehow. Like he's going to end up joining their party. But I don't know. We'll see. Also, goblins are totally coming after them because, yeah, they just killed all their babies.
Who was Frank?
Yeah.
The
The
guy
Frank
who killed
Q.
the girl.
Yeah, killed the
Oh.
crawler they found.
Second girl.
Yeah, back when Carl thought that was like the height of inhumanity, and then he just like killed a nursery.
Yeah. And now I'm
Right?
realizing, like, that was just to set up, like, no, Carl, you have not seen the depths of depravity, and you are going to be the one doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And we don't really know what happened there. Honestly, they could have gotten in a giant fight and, she deserved it. Who knows? We just know she's dead and has no
Exactly.
clothes on.
It could.
They
I mean,
just came through a whole area full of mimics that were like disguising themselves as other humans, and Frank was like just a little too paranoid or something. Who knows?
It was like an episode of Among Us.
Yeah.
There we go.
Yeah,
the imposter?
She's the imposter.
we'll never know. Well, maybe we will. We will know. Yeah, I think you're right. I think we're gonna meet Frank this book.
This
This
is
that
the,
episode where you shoot Mr. Poopy Butthole, and it's like, I'm sorry you didn't have any bad memories of me.
Fuck you, Frank. We only have bad memories of you.
Yeah.
I guess Frank is the one crawler that we know has been in this area and could potentially still be alive. So I guess it would make sense if we ran into him.
Yeah.
Okay. And any other predictions, Jennifer?
Nope. I think that's what I got right now.
Okay, Mike.
Like I was saying earlier, like I get so ahead of myself. I'm so sorry for that. But like I kind of am wanting a Mad Max style dash to the end now. I don't think that that's going to happen right away because we still have quite a bit of book left, or that could be what the next section of the book is. But now we know that our mission is to find an exit, and we probably have an entire clan of goblins after us. So, giant chase filled with explosions and action sequences and car crashes and shit. Like, if that's what we're in for, I'm down. I'm down for it.
It feels like in these tight dungeon confines, it might be hard to go full Mad Max, but we don't know what's going to happen on other floors.
We don't know how big these corridors can get too. Like,
that's true. They could get bigger in other parts. Yeah, you're right.
Right now, they're thinking that it's just like certain squares, and it's always going to be the same design. Which, yeah, probably for the tutorial area, I can see that.
I guess that makes sense. Keep it consistent.
It seems like the boss rooms are these big open arenas, though. So you never know. There could be bigger areas coming. I'm not sure, but we do know that there is kind of a race against. Well, we already knew there was a race against time, but we now know that like it's time to really start playing the objective. So
they still have plenty of time to not play the objective.
That's true. That's true. We're definitely going to get sidetracked quite a bit, but Carl is starting to now think a little bit more strategically and also of his own morality.
Like that's an important component. Yeah, we should probably try to be strategic.
But yeah, going forward, it's good that we have maybe maybe not villain, but an antagonist that now has a reason to be going after Carl. So we have some conflict that is now arising with characters that we at least I'm pretty attached to. I like Lorelai and the other girl. So I'm hoping that more happens there. I'm hoping we haven't seen the last of those characters. So this should be fun.
Fair. Yeah, I mean their greatest goal in life is to get to a lower floor. So if the powers that be want to play up the narrative of this vengeance trip, maybe that's their way to get down there.
Perhaps. Or perhaps maybe they want to make Donut their new chieftain. Who knows?
No.
There you go. Worship the cat. Worship the cat. Now I'm just picturing C-3PO and all the Ewoks. I'm just saying.
Because the funny thing with Donut, like that she said, is that like she doesn't know like the upper limits of like what the charisma can do. Like she's like, I can pretty much just control anybody. It's like as long as they're not aggroed. And the thing is that those dots were still only white when they saw them. They haven't seen them turn red yet. So
True.
As long as they don't know that it was Carl and Donut, who knows what can happen with them. Donut did mention a weird little bit where she was just like, "Why do you think I can control you so well?" And I'm like, does her charisma work on Carl? Is that something that's happening? She could have just been making a joke. She could have just been like being like facetious with him or something. But I don't know. Like I don't know what the limits of her charisma ability is. So that's good. That's interesting.
That's a fair point. Yeah, I honestly hadn't thought about it that deeply when she said it. I just wrote it off as a joke, but yeah, it could be.
That's all I got.
Cool. Building on what Mike said about how Carl is thinking more strategic and playing the game. Nah, homie. This man right now just killed a bunch of babies and old people. And to make himself feel good again, he's going to go after Frank. And I think the finale of this book is going to be him torn between getting to Frank and getting to the bottom floor before the time runs out. And that'll be our ticking time clock thing for the finale.
Okay.
And also, Frank ain't bad. Yeah, he killed a woman. Everyone in here's murderers.
True facts.
They're all murder hobos. Frank won't be bad. You watch.
And it's funny because that happened right after Carl had just beaten a woman to death.
Yeah. Before he destroyed a nursery old folks home with shrapnel bombs.
Yeah, that is some things that happened. All right.
Yes. And again, I'm just going to reiterate DPS. We're getting DPS person next.
That
We
could
really
be
kinda
the
need it.
girl
Probably-
with the dogs.
No. I think we're going to get her later. She's going to be fucking insane. You watch. But yeah, we're getting DPS next. I do think it'll be a girl because I like the idea of Carl being outnumbered.
Sure.
Mhm.
The book is about a guy with a cat. I feel like maybe a dog person is not our friend,
You know?
or
I didn't
maybe it's the other way around. Maybe Donut has to learn to overcome her dog prejudice.
Oh, that's her character
And there will
arc.
be a cocker spaniel.
I think I can safely say that this is a book where there will be no growth of any kind. If anything, regressions, awful regressions, and delving into what is a violent human nature that is being brought about by this capitalistic empire that they live under. Because every episode we do has to come right back to 9/11.
Oh goodness. Okay, I guess let's wrap there then. Oh goodness.
9/11 was goblins.
Okay.
Fun powder.
That is what
Yep.
we have for today. If oh geez, what have I been? Okay, so if you'd like to contact us, you can leave a comment wherever you're watching or wherever you're listening to this. I still haven't made the connection. Our second episode should go up 2 days after we recorded this one. So when that goes up, I'm planning to make the YouTube connection, so they'll start appearing on YouTube as well. And then you can leave comments there. If you'd like to send us an email to give us feedback of some kind, the address is dgmj, don't gaslight me, Jesus, dgmj @mail.com. So email us there. I'm also hoping to have an Instagram up to use by then. We have Facebook also, but I haven't actually done anything with that yet. So I haven't. I'm going to start after the second episode goes up. I'm going to start making I'll go to the Dungeon Crawler Carl subreddit and put up a post like, "Hey, come check out the new podcast," and other places like that to try to advertise its existence. But for right now, I am not doing that yet. Although, hold on, we already have 130 downloads of the first episode, even though I haven't told anybody about it. So
Wait, it's
that's
up?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know this.
It has been posted. He has said.
yes.
Oh.
So check that stuff out. I'll try to put something fun on Instagram. We'll see when we get there.
And if you've pirated this show for some dumb reason, because you can read it or listen to it for free,
Good job.
what happened?
What happened? How did this come about? Honestly. But yes, we should be on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all the major places where people get their podcasts. We should already be appearing. So if you're listening to this, you found it. So you don't need me to tell you about where all it is. It's fine. Thank you to everybody for listening. I'm Data.
Jennifer.
I'm Mike.
Timmy.
And I will leave you with our Mordecai wisdom for the week. You can't run away from most boss fights, so be careful. Wise words for a weary world. Good luck out there, crawlers.
Hello. I am Werner Herzog, actor, director, documentarian, and human being. Within the purview of my career, I must try to find meaning hidden in the many guises we hide ourselves under. When you find a subject of interest, you have to acknowledge that you're only seeing a costume and character that it has chosen to show you. It then becomes my job to drill down into the bedrock of the psyche and find the rare gems of truth that exist within this disguise. And while it is impossible to see the full image, we can merely only hope to see a small glimmer of the subject's soul. This is why I love the blooming onion and jalapeno poppers at Applebee's. The abdominal discomfort and the existential regret you feel hours after consuming these fried affronts to God and an irresponsible amount of oversweet alcoholic cocktails is extraordinary. The elation of celebration with friends and family around a table of barely edible food, knowing that in a few short hours their bowels will be committing war crime after war crime in their toilet for half the night. And the next day, as if in denial or stubbornness, they do it all again in a misguided show of strength. I implore you to come witness what man's hubris has wrought at my favorite place to dine, Applebee's, eating good in the neighborhood. You're welcome.